Snipers, you have to see what's happening to the Bitcoin price today as we are rejecting the weekly open and we are also rejecting the 50-period moving average on the 6-hour chart. And when we pull up the 4-hour chart and the Ichimoku cloud, you can see we are also seeing a rejection at the 4-hour Ichimoku cloud. But more importantly, when we look at what's happening to the DXY, we are forming new yearly highs, retesting the 200-day moving average, which is causing traditional markets like Japan to now fall way and below the 50-day moving average. We have a lot to look at today. You guys are watching the Snipers channel. My name is Naeem Al-Obeidi. If you appreciate this content, remember to like this video so you can see, just like we talked about yesterday, we are going to see wild swings to the downside and to the upside during this consolidation for Bitcoin inside of this triangle. And right now you can see we are rejecting the weekly open. And when we look at what's happening to the volume on the 4-hour chart, you can see as soon as we came towards that weekly open on the 6-hour, we saw major sell pressure come in and fight the bullish pressure that came. And so at this point for Bitcoin, if we are not able to get above the weekly open sitting at 57,300, in my opinion, we have to be very careful when we come towards the support level that we have already tested twice, and that is sitting right around that $54,000 level, because if this level breaks, there is a potential Bitcoin can come down and test this channel, and at that point, that would be more of a bearish case that could potentially take Bitcoin down to the $49,700 level. And realize this, on the 4-hour chart, we could potentially make the case that we do have a descending triangle forming. And if that is the case, and we take the target of this descending triangle and we look at where that would take us if this broke down, it matches up right there at the monthly open at 44,800. So I want you guys to keep that in mind for Bitcoin. And the reason I am talking about the downside scenario is we are seeing weakness in traditional markets and the DXY is moving up. And so it's very important to watch Bitcoin's price if we're not able to get above the weekly open. Of course, if we come above the weekly open, that would be the first confirmation of a breakout. We know there's major confluence at this area around 58,300, and if we can get towards that level, then I think Bitcoin can see new all-time highs. But if we continue to reject the weekly open, then there is that potential descending triangle that could take us down towards that monthly open when we look more into a midterm basis. But of course, I do expect us to find support at this channel support, and I also expect us to find some support at 49,700. So there will be a lot of trading opportunities, but right now we are seeing wild swings to the upside and downside, and we have to keep that in mind. And we'll quickly take a look at Ethereum, because we know the fate of Ethereum is dependent on Bitcoin. When we look at what's happening to the Ethereum US dollar chart, just like we talked about, we are barely hanging on to that 1760 level. If we start to trend down with Bitcoin, we have to keep in mind that 1440 is the next target for Ethereum to the downside. And for us to see bullish momentum, we need to get above the weekly open sitting right around that 1790 level. And at that point, we could then assume upside targets. And then when we look at the Ethereum to Bitcoin chart, you can see here very interesting things happening here. We are coming towards the channel support right now, and I am expecting some sort of a bounce here, but the next downside target would be 29,000. We have to watch out for the Ethereum to Bitcoin chart, because this could play out in a lot of different ways. Bitcoin could come down and this chart could come up, while even the Ethereum to US dollar price will come down. And so we have to keep that in mind as a potential scenario. However, realize that at some point or another, I am expecting a reversal for the Ethereum to Bitcoin chart. We have to see how this channel is able to hold for the Ethereum to Bitcoin price. And you can see when we look at the total cryptocurrency market cap chart, we are now below the previous weekly open, finding some resistance. We have to keep in mind, if this is a top pattern, that could be the higher high that we talked about 2 weeks ago, forming to potentially come down towards the monthly open at $1.37 trillion in market cap. We have to keep that scenario in mind. Just because there's institutions in the markets doesn't mean it's always going to be a bull market, because institutions can also bring in bearish pressure. So we have to keep that in mind. I'm not going bearish in any way, but I am saying in the micro time frames, there is some concerns. We talked about the potential bullish scenario here with the 50-day moving average and Bitcoin, and so there could still be a very bullish scenario here where we come down towards this 50-day moving average and bounce to see continued highs. And right now, bullish, of course, or Bitcoin is in a very bullish trend. Now, this is extremely important. We want to talk about traditional markets. I really quickly want to talk about others' dominance. You can see we are finding a little bit of some sell pressure here at this major resistance. That's totally fine for others' dominance. We saw a major run up for that. So we can expect some altcoins to slow down possibly if we continue to stay below the weekly open, sitting right at that 12.15% dominance level. And my plan from the beginning of the year was to ride up others' dominance towards 12.5% dominance. And as I talked about 3 months ago, now that we've reached this target, we want to reevaluate and assess the situation. And that takes us straight into what's happening to traditional markets, the DXY, forming a higher high, retesting the 200-day moving average for the first time in over a year. You can see we've been in this very bearish trend. We are also above the 20-week moving average. We need to keep this chart in mind, because if this continues to come up, this was the end of the bull rally in 2017 into 2018 when the DXY reversed at the same exact level that we are currently seeing a potential reversal. And so we have to keep this in mind when we're trading the markets. And you can see we are already seeing effects of this in Japan, with Japanese traditional markets falling below the 50-day moving average. And when we look at Hong Kong, you can see we are potentially coming down to form even further lows towards the 200-day moving average. And so we failed to form a higher low. We are coming down, and so we have yet to break this previous low, but it looks like we may be on the way down towards the 200-day moving average. And of course, the Shanghai Composite, also similar to the CSI 300. But when we look at the S&P 500, is this the last domino piece that has yet to fall? Who knows, because we are still seeing strength above the weekly open, but let's see how long that could last. We do have the potential case to say that there's an inverse head and shoulder forming here. So there is the bullish case when it comes to Bitcoin and the S&P 500, but right now we have to address what's happening to the DXY, how that's affecting international markets. And with that being said, I do want to give away one of my favorite books on investing, Principles by Ray Dalio. If you want to win this book, go ahead and comment below and share this video. And I'm going to go ahead and pick a winner from our video yesterday. Let's see. Bruno Betts says, good insights, never miss a video. Thank you for the comments. Go ahead and send me a message on Instagram. The link is in the description below, and you won a book, Bruno. And with that being said, guys, I think we went over some very great insights about what's happening to the Bitcoin price along with traditional markets. And I'd love to hear your guys' thoughts in the comments below. And with that, thank you for watching today. Snipers out.